Yjgdcn. Yeah, let's get in it. I mean, I've got a couple of these. They have been dropping some interesting knives. Yeah, and this is kind of one of them. Looks like full titanium with Damascus inserts, titanium backspacer, titanium pocket clip. Yeah, look at this beast. What a beaut. Hollow ground, dual grind. Created this swedge here. It's got another swedge on the top. 10 CR, 15 MOV. This is the CN020. Yeah, and it's a beast. An absolute beast of a knife. I mean, if you're into big knives, this may be a video worth watching. Well, let's get rid of the distractions. Yjgdcn. Yangjiang Guangdong, China. Yep, that's what it stands for. They could probably get a logo and stop dumping all of the badging on like that, the letters. It's not very attractive. I think some definitely feel like it makes the knife look like a gas station knife. The Spidey flick on those thumb studs, yeah, it works. It's just such a big blade, you know, trying to Spidey flick that. It's big, it's heavy. It is a big chunk of 10 CR. The thumb stud, I mean, these big gnarly looking thumb studs work wonderfully. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I could get it. Lowered my grip just a little bit and yeah, I can sling it. What's that grind look like? Such a big knife like this, it's easy for them to not do a consistent grind on the blade, especially when you got a hollow grind, you've got this flat grind, everything's combined. It does look like we're getting a little thin on the edge in this space on both sides. But all in all, it looks pretty good. Yep. It's got this Damascus G10 raised over the scale a little bit, kind of shadow boxed in there, built-in lanyard hole, jimping on the back spacer. Yeah, I don't think I can fail that. I'm going to try. Nope. Yeah, it's running really well. It's got a little wiggle in it. Let's see if we can get the wiggle out. Oh yeah, it was just loose. There we go. Well, let's break it down. Golly, this thing's a beast. It is a big. Had a little piece of Loctite on it. T8 hardware all the way around. Pocket clip looks to be held down from the inside. So pivot screw, two two scale screws. I am going to pull that pocket clip real quick and see if I can't add a little tension to it, only because that's how I roll. I mean, it feels like it's got some flex. I put a little bit of a hump into it. So yeah, I'm going to try to pop this scale out first. I'm going to say nope. Well, I'm gonna assume that it's glued in there and does not want to come out. So I'm gonna leave it be. I will check this one just to be safe. Big fat stop pin. Yeah, this side's not coming out either. So I'm gonna assume that they're glued in. Let's wipe it down. Give it a little cleanup, a little tune up. Big slabs of titanium. We'll weigh this thing because it's so big. The weight's gonna matter. So I don't usually weigh knives, but we'll weigh this one because it's a big one. It's got a steel insert that could be removed, but the scale's not loose. So the scale, I mean, they put a over travel stop on the steel liner, but I'm assuming you could probably boil this, and whatever glue is on there, you could loosen up and get it out of there. But yeah, I mean, so in theory, it's adjustable to where you could lighten the detent, but unless you got that insert out of there, you're not adjusting nothing. Big caged, I believe, ceramic bearings. We'll check that. Just because inquiring minds want to know. Heck, I want to know. Yeah, it's not steel. Not machined on the show side. I'm a fan of that. And surely, in theory, it costs a little less money because you don't have to rechuck those parts and machine them from the other side, whether it's automated or not, The blue on the red kind of looks good, I guess. Captured pivot. I say it's captured. It is not captured. But it held its own. Big fat stop pin. Racetrack washers, keep those bearings in the proper alignment. I think we're going to go that way with it. Oh, I didn't wipe the blade off. It's funny because I felt like I hadn't done everything either. Like I just had this feeling, and sure enough, I did not. Really rough ground blade. Like they just rough ground that and left it, and then more of a hand satin finish this way. Whew. Man, is that running. Yjgdcn. And expect to see a few of these, man. I got a couple of them coming. There's this model, a couple of other models. There's different versions of this model. There's some really good looking Damascus and Timascus. I mean, we're talking some super high end stuff. I got to put this pocket clip back in. I'm pretty sure I saw the other day a version of this with, it had zirconium inserts. Instead of this, it was zirconium, and it went for over $200. And that's saying something for Yjgdcn, man. Yjgdcn. All right, let's try again. And that was in a live auction. It went for that. So, I mean, what's the list? What's the going list price? 250, 269. That would be my guess. You know, one of the things I look for in a budget piece like this, like these YJG knives, they've been making budget knives, and then out of the blue, they start making, you know, $100, $150, $200, $250 knives. I look for the little things because that's what I find. Sometimes they execute this and then they still present a cheap knife in the little things. So we're not lined up properly here, and I thought so. Like that's not locking up even. So something's off. The alignment. There it goes. I didn't think that was lining up properly. So I'm going to have to take this apart again. I may save y'all some views and get it apart. Okay, so here's what I did. I loosened all these screws and then I locked the knife out where you see it now. And it's got 20% on the face now on the lockup. And then I tightened everything. I got it in the correct position and then I tightened it. And it's not a common occurrence, but it does happen. It's not like this rare bird that I've never seen before. I have had that happen. And sometimes you just got to get it in the correct lockout position. And once it's there, then you tighten things because there's enough movement in all of that if you tighten it prior to that, you may get it misaligned a little. But it's all good. It's a non-issue. Yeah. And just for argument's sake, yeah, there's no way that could fail now. I mean, it's 25% maybe, 25 or 30% covered up behind there. Man, let's talk about this action. Very hydraulic, very smooth. It's a heavy piece. Let's get that out of the way. All right, here we go. 6.6 ounces, 6.7. You know, if I breathe on it, it's 6.7. Yeah, so it's a piece for show. And so, very hydraulic. The thumb flick, the spidey flick, everything works really well. The back flipper, I wonder if I can fail it. Yeah, I can fail it. But just the slightest amount of pressure and it'll go. Wonderful jimping on the flipper tab. That's like combat jimping there. I mean, if I put my finger in it, the chances of coming off of that are slim to none. It's wonderful stuff. Access to the lock bar. This is lowered, scalloped. This is scalloped. The fit and finish in here is really nice. So unlocking this knife is very simple. Not a lot of tension. I mean, yeah, this thing. Detent on the bottom. Snappy. Yeah, sucks it in there. It's got great jimping here. Let's stick with the action. I mean, I'll give it an A minus. It's A level stuff. It is. If I'm gonna hold my best knives that I own, that I am fortunate to get my hands on to, the action on this, ranks up in the top, the top 20% of what I own for sure. It's good stuff. Ergonomics. So not so confident, confident, very confident. Yeah, this thing just goes whoop, right up towards that very confident. It's got this wonderful finger guard developed by the flipper tab. The ergonomics are such that everything just falls in place here. This jimping comes into play with my pinky finger. The jimping on the spine, it's not combat jimping, but it definitely aids the platform for the thumb to go there. I mean, this is legit. I am locked in here. Reverse grip. Yeah, just the way this is contoured to cap the thumb. Even though it's a big knife, I can get a very powerful grip here in a reverse grip. And bonus points, yeah, this grip here, my palm tucks right in there. And this hammer grip right here, boom. Yeah, I could drive this through a 2x4. Maybe not. I don't think I'm strong enough to do that. But yeah, wonderful ergonomics. The pocket clip disappears in the hand. Yeah, really nice. Let's check that pocket clip. I did add a little tension to it, so with that weight of this knife, I would like it to really hold in the pocket. So it does run out of room on the thick material, as you can see. Let me show you. There, see the gap right here? So because this material is so thick, it wouldn't allow it to go all the way in up to the top. But it did wedge it in there. So as a big knife, it got wedged in there. On standard jean size material, it goes all the way. It's got decent tension, but the knife's so heavy, I think it would shake out. Like if I got in a tussle, it's in my back pocket where I would carry this knife. If I got in a tussle, was rolling around on the ground, I mean, it held to that seam. I think without that seam, that might pop out of my pocket. So let's try it here because there's no seam. This seam's not there. And that seam doubles up that material. So just standard jean size material, if I got in a tussle, yeah, it could pop out of my pocket. So, I mean, I'm going to give it a okay, meh. Yeah, and it's because the knife is so heavy. I mean, it's almost 7 ounces. And because it's heavy like that, it's really going to need a tension on the pocket clip, to hold it in, like if you took off running or whatever, this thing is so heavy flying around, it could pop out of your pocket. So, could more tension be put on here? Yes. Could you cross-hatch the contact patch under the bottom of the clip here? Yes. Could you cross-hatch the G10 underneath there? Yes. So could it be resolved? Definitely. What about blade contact? Yeah, there's no contact in the blade through the scales in the back, and the tip is nicely recessed. So the clip is okay. It needs maybe some help with tension down on it. The tip is nice. It's recessed. You're not going to contact it. And I'm confident I can handle this knife any way I want, and I'm not going to come in contact with the sharp part. So speaking of the sharp part, hollow ground, let's catch it first. I mean, it feels a little rough, so I'm definitely going to strop it, but let's check that next grind. And it's definitely got some boogers. I mean, so much so that, I mean, it feels fairly sticky, but so much so, this knife may need to be sharpened. But let's just run it on a strop. I'm going to put it on a bake strop, and we're going to run it on this edge right here. I'm going to try to keep it high, keep it up off of the flat of the knife. Keep it down on the sharpening grind edge only, so that I don't ghost up that blade. Do 2 passes and then we'll check it. Okay. I mean, it feels stickier. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'll say that that's improved for sure. What about this other bevel? Yeah, 100%. Nice. All right, well, so let's talk about price. How much are these? Let's get rid of the strop. Okay, well, I've seen these listed hard to purchase now for around 69 bucks, maybe 67 bucks. So this is probably going to be over at Timber's Edge Knives around 65. If you'll subscribe, put your email address in, you'll be able to pick this up for about $59. Yeah, I mean 59 bucks. 10 CR, TC4 titanium, gymnastics inlays, and a beast of a knife for right around 60 bucks. Pretty cool. I think it's a good value. I did not find the Achilles heel. Like I said, sometimes I look at these newer entry level knives, trying to make these better pieces, and I find the Achilles heel. Well, listen, if this one had one, it might be that badging, right? But for a big work knife, honestly, a big EDC piece in the pocket, if you're down for carrying a big knife, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Hey, I appreciate it. The Yjgdcn CN020. Yep, there it is. Appreciate y'all watching.